Welcome back, guys, to another Xbox One S and Xbox One X comparison video. Today we're going to be talking about Subnautica. Now, normally I don't typically care about loading screens, but I feel like this might have been enough of a difference to actually address. So, in this case, we're going to do a comparison of the base loading screen time between the One S and the One X. I have a timer for both underneath their respective consoles. It's kind of interesting to see. As you can see here, the Xbox One X has completely loaded in, while the One S is still going. Now, it should be noted that you're going to be here a while. This takes a considerable bit longer than it took the One X, and this is not the only game I've noticed this in. Foxy, she plays Prey pretty regularly, as you can see from her Friday videos. Well, one day I decided to pop in and play it after watching because I want to finish the game, and before I knew it, I was loaded in, ready to go, and I had no clue. Another game I've noticed is Battlefield 1. I was playing with my friend Timo in the exact same room. We finished the game and click finish, continue, all that, go on to the next screen. Boom, I was already loaded up and ready to go, and he finished before me. Yeah, he looked over like, fuck you. And finally, the One S finishes at 1 minute and 50 seconds. So the One X could have loaded up almost 3 times the amount of time it took for the One S to load in once. The total difference was 1 minute 21, so it was a pretty big difference here. And here's the difference between the intro video from the One S and the One X. This is the only one I put side by side, because I noticed graphically they're pretty much the same. I think the One X runs a little bit smoother, just a little bit, at least in this aspect. So this will be the only cutscene that's actually shown together like this. Here we have a comparison of what the fabricator does on the One S and the One X, see if there's any visible difference. I pick things that you do pretty regularly within the game. Seeing as you regularly access your fabricator, it was something I figured could be a pretty good indicator if there's a good difference. Now, we move on to the Aurora exploding, which I think pretty, I don't want to say, pretty scene, but kind of is. See if there are any noticeable differences. Once again, I couldn't really tell too many. Not right off the bat. Now, this is where it gets a little bit more involved. If you look right here in the top left, I have the frames per second going, telling you how the game is running, how smoothly, how quickly. And I tried to catch some fish for using one tank of oxygen to see how easy I could do it. If you keep paying attention to there, you'll notice it constantly dips down below 30, often to 20, maybe a little bit lower. And sometimes I found it really hard to just catch the fish, especially when they make a quick movement to the side, like I think this one's about to. And just like, yeah, see, just having to turn and try and keep up in the FPS, the lag, the latency, whatever you want to call it, just makes it just a little bit harder, especially when it comes to peepers. Fucking assholes. See, I had a hell of a time trying to get this boomerang, and there's several times I was right on it and mashing the button, but I just couldn't grab it. And I think that was another thing. Now, if you notice, whenever we switch over to the One X here, that the frames per second are on average about 10 better. So where the base game is trying to run at 40, this one's trying to run at 50, and whenever it dips down to 30 more than it does 20. There's still a couple of 20s in there, but not nearly to the same degree. And whenever you go and catch the fish, it registers quicker. I don't know if that was just luck or if that's actually part of the game. I think it actually is the game because it felt so much easier. Even with those quick assholes, like I could just hammer on the trigger, left trigger, and oh, missed it. And I just grab them. Like, got it. Carry fish were kind of easy, but still, it still happened a little bit. So it's not so much a graphical difference as it is it just makes it a little bit easier to do basic quick stuff. Whenever you do a quick turn, you'll notice your frames drop pretty quickly. It didn't happen as much, and if it did, it was a pretty small dip as compared to the 1S. Now, something I wanted to look at and compare was the difference between the bioluminescence at night and between the 1S and the 1X, just to see if maybe there was something graphically in the game that made things look a little bit different. No, it wasn't too much. I think the colors just become a little bit more vibrant on the 1X. But as you can tell, there's still a crap load of little black boxes that appear everywhere on both systems. That's Subnautica. 1X does not fix that. I picked this spot particularly in the shallows because it was easy to get between some pretty little plants and get a good all-around view of anything that was distant and, you know, bioluminescent. Like I said, there wasn't too much terrible difference. And then I decided to end it all, go to one place that's a little bit more intensive, and I picked the Lost River. Because, I don't know, I just like the Lost River. I was looking at the skull, I got attacked by the Ghost Leviathan a few times, just to see if there's any difference, you know, vibrant, how well everything loads. And I couldn't tell too much difference. Maybe slightly more vibrant colors between the Ghost Leviathan, but that's about it. I think the biggest change is the fact that it runs smoother. It just runs quicker. The frames per second just stay a lot more constant, a lot more frequently. And back to the 1X, where he got a little bit closer to me the first time. I think it's still the kind of the same issue that is with Ark, is that a lot of things just seem a little bit more vibrant. I don't know if that's just me or if that's the environment, how much is loaded in or what. It's kind of hard to tell in this area. I let him come really close, that way we could get a good look at him, just because I think he's neat. As far as my opinion and conclusion go, there's no real difference or change for it as of yet. It's not like Ark that has an enhanced version, or Assassin's Creed Origins, or a couple other games that are out. But if you just want your game to run a little bit smoother, a little bit better, you could always try out the 1X. It helps a little bit. However, do be warned, you will still suffer crashes. A couple weeks ago we did a Subnautica stream, and holy shit. How many times did it crash? I think it was 3 or 4 times it just straight up conked out on us. And there's nothing we can do. But once again, that's just Subnautica. So, anyway, I hope you found this video informative. Check out more, or let me know if you want to see more. But until then, see you in the next episode, guys.